So for example, how to improve performance, right? Let's say React page performance techniques, let's say. So there are a couple of available, and one of them is definitely debounce and throttle, for example, using immutable data structures. Immutable means, you know, the string particularly, right? If you can use string, yeah, it is recommended to use string where as much as possible, and other immutable data structures as well. And what else? Let's see another technique: function and stateless components and React pure components. So functional rather than class components. This is another technique that can be implemented to improve the React and page loading performance. Multiple chunk files. I guess this is like splitting into different files and modules using the bundling, and using production mode flag and webpack. Yes, this webpack is also another module bundler where you wrap all the files under this module. So as a result, it returns. I mean, it gives one it works under the hood of the single project rather than many directories. And dependency optimization. Yeah, for example, using many dependencies over here. So let's say here we have, you see my VS Code as well, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so the more dependencies we have, the more time for the loading it takes. Okay, so that's why optimization of dependencies is also another one of the key features for performance optimization or improving the performance. Use React fragment to avoid additional HTML and Java. Yeah, this one is also important. For example, here we used, look at this, we used a div, right? So instead of this div, we could have used maybe just a React fragment to wrap the entire page. Why? Because using the React fragment takes, I would say, nothing from the memory. Also, no need to draw on the DOM tree, because this is kind of anonymous HTML element, right? But you can use in React to wrap all the elements to return one single tree. But at the end of the day, you will not draw this guy because this is something empty. So this also helps a little bit to improve the performance and optimize your application. What else? Avoid inline function, definitely in the render. Not sure what does it mean. Yep, I think this one inline, you know, rather than calling right during the line, maybe. So call using the function itself, for example, on click. Okay, call this one rather than on click and then calling this one. Okay, this is another. And throttle and debouncing event action. Yeah, this one I'd like to talk right now about debounce. And what else? Avoid using index as key for map. Yeah, index is not secure, is not a good way of using for the keys, because index may change. As a result, your order of the data will get escalated or destabilized. So that's why every single item should have their own unique IDs rather than using the index. Because higher order function takes 3 parameters, you can pass over here one parameter, so that iterates over every single element, and the second parameter shows you index. Third parameter is for array itself, right? So using the index is temporarily solves your issue, but as a production deployment purpose, using index is not is someone doesn't or never recommended. Avoid props and initial states. Not sure. Okay, we can read later on. Let's go quickly. Spread props on DOM elements, use reselect or redux to avoid async initialization component will mount. So this you can bookmark this link because there are at least 20 different features you can use for React page application performance improvement or optimization. And during the interviews, one of the commonly asked question is, okay, how you, what are the steps that you can apply to improve your application performance or loading time performance? So you can list around like 4 or 5. That would be great. For example, debounce, one of them. The other one is React fragment. The other one is using functional component rather than class component. And then the other one is, I would say what CDN, they say, oh yeah, dependence optimization. Okay. So, and then also, what else? Putting into different files. So as a result, you end up creating different components using all those files. And what else we can say during the interview? Virtualize long list, no, analyze optimize work pack and bundle float, consider server-side rendering. Yeah, this is another feature, helps to improve the application loading time rather than, let's say, loading all the 10,000 movie movie data. You only load based on your page. So for example, the first page, okay, it's gonna hit the API only once and then returns the 20 items, and the next time it hits again the API. Okay, next time it hits again. Now, because sometimes there are data in the backend, so the front end guys, they fetch everything at once, and then based on the page they split one by one. That's not a good way of improving performance. So it's better to call based on your let's say action. Okay, so if you want to jump to the next page, then hit the backend rather than bringing everything to the front end and then splitting them on different pages. Okay, so that's called server-side rendering rather than client-side rendering. Yeah, I really remember that one of the commonly asked, how do you improve the performance of the React loading time and then performance? So you can list around 4 or 5 over here. Any questions? And so let's do here a debounce, for example. Look at this here for regular search console, regular search. For example, if I write here A and it keeps, let me console this one as well. So over here, I can console which one is that. We are typing is, I think, search, right? This one. So is it searching? Let's say every time I type over here, look at this, DOM. So every time I search, it keeps rendering my page. But instead, I want to render when I stop typing only after 300 milliseconds or after 1 second. Okay, then yeah, you can start searching. Otherwise, please wait. Give me time rather than searching immediately every time when I type. Okay, so let's say A, B, C. It keeps searching, rendering. Now, the solution would be using debounce. So we can implement over here instead of this text field, we will use the input element from debounce. So debounce can be fetched from here. So debounce React. Let's see, React. How to correctly? I want its component where to import. Okay, look at this animation. So it types age, hello, and then right after, so minimum length is 2, okay. So you have to type at least 3, and then it works after 300 milliseconds, not like the moment you start typing, but only after 300 milliseconds. That's how debounce works, and we can install it quickly. So here, and the usage of this debounce is just this line of code: import debounce from React debounce. Once it's done, we can import over here. Is there any questions up to this point? Okay, let's import. And since it's, you can say this is an absolute library, so absolute library should go before relative libraries. So these are relative, these are absolute. And then what's next is to bring this debounce, okay? Look at this. Let me bring this paragraph as well to see how debounce works first before starting the search. Let me remove this one. And so this is used using kind of class component, but we are working with the hooks, right? So let's change this one and then create our own hooks functional component. So change, let's say debounce, and it asks us minimum 2 characters to be typed before this 300 milliseconds gets activated. So we can put here 500 and then at least 2 characters, okay? And change debounce, and then instead of this dot state value, I'm gonna put and then put here value. So let's say here this is my value.
Kanybek, you have typo.
Okay, we'll fix that one. So set value. So this set value function and value is for my debounce. So let me fix where is my typo.
Yes, change the bounds.
On change. Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
So we can put here change debounce. Now the value will be displayed right over here only after 500 milliseconds, or in other words, only half second it takes to start searching. Okay, so change debounce. Let's create here constant and then arrow function. Now set value, right? And so it brings us e and then e dot target dot value. So set value is gonna be my whatever I am typing inside this debounce component. So let's see and then check if it works. Now look at this. This doesn't work because still that's based on our regular search, but this one should show over here my text only after 500 milliseconds after I stop typing. Okay, let's say hey, still waiting me to stop now, and then after just half seconds it displays me. Okay, otherwise it should be displaying every time when I type this word HEY. Okay, and now instead of that it does only after stopping. I mean when I stop and then counts 500 milliseconds, then it prints hey and then 500 minutes. Let's do it a little bit higher so to see the difference. Now I'll remove this one, but if it's only one character, it won't work. A never works, but A and still counting, and now only it started searching or displaying, somehow rendering. Okay. Now you're gonna apply this simple logic for searching our items As a result, we end up, kind of improving our page performance. This is also a great answer for such questions, so you can easily answer for that. So instead of this one now, text field, let's use our debounce, okay? And what? And what? So this searching is no longer our state, but value will be used, right? So whatever from the value is coming, we will filter it out and then apply to our map for further what? Display, right? After filtering. Makes sense? Change debounce, and then it goes to my function, change my set value. So value will be changed, and that value is over here for filtering, and then after filter it, I'll use for mapping. Okay, let's see. And 1,500. Okay, since we don't have, it still keeps me showing. Now we have Daniel and let's say DA, and still searching, and then whoever has this content in their name or displayed over here only after 1500 seconds. Okay, I mean 1500 milliseconds, or 1 second, 500 milliseconds. Now let's do it again. So we have all the data available. I'm gonna write here Daniel. Sorry, one more time, Daniel. Now only after, oh, it's still typo. Okay, Daniel. Only after, you see, 1,500 milliseconds, I could filter and search them. Simple, right? Not that difficult. Should be clear. Any questions?
Can you explain again? Like I didn't get like.
Sure. Yeah, debounce, look at this. Debounce is a React component used to optimize search time, improve page rendering performance, you can say. And so it has a couple of parameters, so you can use them. For example, for minimum length, you can put over here 2, 3, 4. So only when that parameter is matched, your debounce gets fired. For example, here we passed 2, means that we have to type at least 2 characters to activate our debounce. And then debounce get activated only after this much milliseconds after we finish typing. Okay. So yeah, so here we have on change still for like input component, and change debounce just goes over here and then updates my state, and then I'm using that state to filter out the typed text, and then from the filtered array of objects, I'll go down and then start from line number 88 to mapping my only the filtered ones. Okay, almost the same, just we are applying here this tiny technique to filter out the objects based on this interval. Okay, after finishing, only start filtering after this time amount. So let's go back. Yeah, and then let's go back and then see again.
Debouncing has like own input already, like
Yeah, this is actually this is input component. You see, this is input already input component, but has this this kind of extra attributes, we can say. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And then let's say you want to search this guy. Let's say Violet. Sorry, Viol, and then still, and then it is activated. Okay. So we don't see any more over here that we are still typing every word. I mean every character. VIOLET, rather than going, you see here, the bombarding our page, it just renders once after 1,500 milliseconds. That's it.
So is it an alternative to our search?
It is
Like text
definitely.
field? Okay.
Definitely, it is.
So it's
yeah.
better to use debounce than text
exactly.
field?
Exactly. Yeah. Use this one. But yeah, instead of using regular text field and then, without debounce, yeah, it would be great to use debounce and then implement this tiny functionality for your search function, for your search feature. Okay. Of course, this logic can also be implemented, custom. You can implement your own custom debounce because this guy has some logic behind the scenes, and it has this on change event listener and then debounce timeout. And it can also be implemented by you. It's as a single separate component, and which is also debounce, and you can use in your own projects. But since there is already someone who implemented this debounce input, you can use always without wasting time. And with proud, you can explain during the interviews that, okay, I was really, I was proud that I implemented debounce functionality during my project involvement, because it improved the search time. And then let's say, as a result, my manager even praised me of this kind of implementation. Why not? Right?
So the bonds input is like an input. So do we have to control? Do we have to set the value for it?
No, it automatically takes the value, and then you can use inside this, inside this function, whatever you are calling. Yeah, you can have a look for detailed props. For example, here, debounce input type number, it says only you can pass number, and you can put also placeholder even. Okay. So it's not something like, yeah, you ask it like, it is an input element, regular HTML input element, but since this is a component, so you can download and then use it. See, type number and then placeholder it has. What else you can implement? And then daily download is this number, weekly download from all over the world. Cool. And script on this one. That's it regarding debounce. And now, so I want to show something. Draw. What is our draw? Quick draw. How to draw? Sketch. Okay, I do have. Start over. So I want to show how what another project. It's shopping cart, or you can call basket again. Rather than basket, a shopping page maybe. So it has items over here, one item, and then another item, and then one more item. And here we have some kind of separator, and here always shows us the total. And so let's say here we have the up and then down arrows, and showing here price for the item. Okay, so if we add if we click the up arrow, our let's say total increases. Here let's say this is Nokia, and this is, let's say, iPhone, and this is Samsung, right? For example, if I click this upper arrow, it puts here me 1, and then puts me here the price of this Nokia, let's say $50. Okay. If I click one more time, the count goes to 2, and my price goes from 50 to 100. If I click one more time, my count goes to 3, and my total price becomes 150. Okay, and then I want to add other items as well. So let's say I want to add Samsung, and it has the same arrows. If I click the up arrow, okay, my item goes from 3 to 4, and then let's say its price is $200. And then on top of this 150, I add this 200 and makes this 350 after adding all those 4 items, because 3 of them are Nokia, 1 of them is Samsung, and I want to add 1 more from iPhone. So let's say I'm adding here I'm adding here 1 more item from iPhone, becomes 5 total, and then let's say its price is 250. Okay, and then my total becomes 300 plus 250, so 600. Okay, so 600. What makes 600 is 3 iPhones, 3 Nokias, and 1 Samsung, 1 iPhone. Okay, if I want to remove some Nokias, I'll just click this down arrow. Okay, and then my item number becomes 4. I will subtract only 50 from here, because I'm clicking the down arrow of Nokia means that I am removing 1 Nokia. So I have to get total 150 only. Okay. And then I want to remove 1 Samsung as well. After clicking down arrow, okay, my total count becomes 3. And then since Samsung's price is 200, I have to subtract 200 over here, making this only 350 total. So what makes 350 is 1 iPhone and then 2 Nokias. Okay, so this is our kind of shopping cart, which has adding, removing, and adding, removing functionality. Also, we can remove entire, or we can remove this guide completely, and so on. Maybe we can go above and beyond. So let's say we have 10 items. We can only show 5 of them over here. Let's say 4 of them over here, 4 of them on the next page, and 2 of them on the next page. Okay, and this way we end up having 3 pages. That's the task, and we're gonna do that from scratch. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Has someone exposed previously working with such kind of projects, shopping cart, shopping, maybe this kind of application?
We kind of did in the previous project with Nujan. Yeah, we also tried to do like count the items and give total price.
Were there like different items?
Yeah. But, there were different items, but we didn't do the delete.
Delete, okay. Pagination,
So,
right?
yeah.
Okay, did you implement with hooks or class components?
It was class component. Yeah, it
Got
was
it.
class component. Like it was big project, and one of the functionality was like this.
I see. Okay. Questions regarding the features, the functionalities? So we have kind of designed from scratch, and then the logic is clear, and we can start doing that one over here. So I think we don't want this one anymore, but I can send this code, this piece of code, right? So let me share this one quickly. So, and then you just need to implement on your movie. And where is that? Can share with Slack. So this is a debounce part which we implemented, and then of course, if you want to search something, don't forget to include that debounced value. And of course, for the function, you have to just call this tiny block of code. And don't forget, you have to set that value in your state. Cool. Now I'm going to remove everything and don't want save. I got JSON favorites. We don't want them. Okay. So, so we decided to go with the hooks, right? Since the hooks are already our main hooks, we can build everything with hooks. Import. Surely I could have left some libraries. Yeah, export default, and I don't want this one. Debounce, let's leave, and then the rest is we can leave, except this first line. Turn. Let's make sure if it is working. It is. So what can we do is we can bring some random image from Google and then use that one. Okay, so something like that. Create a dummy data over here, const, let's say products. Okay, and its products are, I mean, the data is definitely most of the time array of objects. Okay, so we will follow the same logic. Products, and let's say here we have ID one, and then we have name. Okay, and then let's say we have price for that guy, and then what else you can do is a URL, right, for the image to display, and let's say count the beginning, and so name we can put here what we can put here, the one that we mentioned, let's say Nokia. Okay, and then price, let's say 99.99. Okay, and then URL, let's go and then grab some Nokias. Nokia 10, I guess. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's too elegant. I think this one is enough. Let's get this one. Is it image or shop? Okay, image. Okay. Copy image address and use it. Can put over here for further display and 0. Okay. What's wrong with this one? Okay, I have to put inside the object, right? Got it. And now next object will be the same way. URL should be followed with comma and then count as well. One more. Okay, now instead of next one Nokia, let's put here BlackBerry, and then this is 199 and 99, and this is, let's say, Samsung, and this is somewhere around 250 evenly, and can put later on more. So let's say iPhone X, and this is around 450. And of course, the IDs should be different. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now next is to use those data in our functional component. Okay, so you can say that const data. So set data if you want for further, let's see, use state, and we can directly bring that one here, products. Okay, products, and so what else we need? We need like total later on, right? Total for amount. So set total amount. Initially it is 0. So did we import the use state? We did. And then let's map that elements first, how they look like. Okay, who wants to map? This is the most easiest part, right? From this point. Childers, you want to go? Elia, go ahead.
Data.map
Mm-hmm.
element curly braces return div and inside div element that name.
Name, right? You want to put here. Let's put here first image, and then down below we can go with the name. So P. So the source will go with what? Element.
That URL.
Exactly. That URL. And then the paragraph will go with the element. That name, right? And then also we want maybe one couple simple span for price. So element that price. Let's see. We have all of them. And what are we missing here, guys, during the mapping?
Key.
Yeah, we are missing key. So key, and then it can go with the element.id. If you want to use, guys, let's say real ID, have you guys heard this one? Nano ID. Have you heard, guys, this one?
No.
Let's use this one because Nano ID is another cool feature under this npm package where you can generate random IDs. Okay, it's really like long and never matches with the one that is generated previously, even though you want to generate millions of different IDs. So let's use this simple feature. I have to quickly install that one, I think, or without installing. I think I need, yeah, over here. Just copy, okay. You can copy, so Control V. And then after importing this one, So the way it is required to use is this one. Model ID that equal to nano. Okay. Now it is imported and installed. For example, as a key, I can use here nano, this one, nano ID. Control C. I have to call that function every time. Nano ID as a function. Okay, and for example, let's see how this nano ID looks like. Nano ID, and for example, I want to put here. So let me put here quickly on click. Find ID. I want to see what is the ID that it is generated. Is that value that? No, I have to put here on click over here. On click, find ID. Control V. I'm sorry. Constant. Find ID. ID. E dot target that ID. Let's see when we click what is the ID that is generated by this nano ID. So what should I click is the entire div, right? Nothing. Find ID, that target that ID, nano ID I'm using. That target that ID.
Maybe instead of ID,
The same function
key?
on line 55.
Line 55. What?
You're repeating the same function. Does it affect?
Okay, so let's eliminate them. It's not returning me.
Maybe instead of ID, should it be key?
Either target that key.
Maybe.
Putting here ID. Let's test. Let's say something different. No, we can't get the key just using either target that key. Let me instead this leave it ID again. Nano ID, this one. Okay, we can
No,
quickly look.
you haven't changed that key to ID on the line.
Oh, okay, got it. In a targeted ID, let's see. Still. Okay, use nano ID in React. I used once, so forgot. Haven't used for a while. Nano ID can't be used in React Native. No, not React. Okay. How to use nano ID in React? Nano cannot be used. Let's see this one. Nano ID. So nano ID is imported. I don't want to require model ID equal to nano ID. If you want to reduce the ID size, I think model ID equal to nano ID. You should call every time. And wait, nano ID. Okay, we can use that one later on. And no need to waste time right now. But believe me, this is another cool product or cool component you can use for random nano, for random ID generations. Okay, it's another feature we can easily implement later on. No worries, but let's continue with our way. And the key is element.id. Okay. And the items are over here. Let's grab a couple of more. BlackBerry. Oops. Fonts. Let's get this one. And instead, this one is BlackBerry. Is it? What's up? We know. Copy image. Okay, anyone wants Samsung? We can pick this one up. Samsung. Well, finally, one iPhone. Let's see. We'll have different image sizes, definitely. Okay, everything is here. And let me give quick styling. So we have what? We have index CSS or app CSS. Okay, let's go with app CSS. Okay, image width is very small, like around 200 pixels. And see, yep, all we have the same size now. And then what the next? So next is a couple of more cosmetics.
Excuse me, how did you do it?
Which one? Same size?
Same size, yeah.
Yeah, you can just go and then give the same size for all images, whatever you have in your app.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, yep. And then quickly, so we don't have any wrapper over here. We can say this is our class name and this is app. And what else? This is another class name. So this is, let's say, item. Okay, item, and quickly app display flex and line center, justify center. Now let's see how border looks like. Solid tail. Okay, everything is in a row, and then flex direction column. It should be in the middle. And then let's give border for individual items. I guess it is items or item. And I can put this same, but in this case, let's see how it looks like. Okay, and then some margin around like 5 pixels, so to separate them. Okay, what else? So we can give height to show them in a smaller dimension, so like 100 pixel, but this one is 70 pixel, let's say, not 700, of course, 70. That's too small. 120, and then this is 160. Still not promising, not convincing. Let's say 40. Thing enough. All right, and actually we could have put this on the right side, but let's give them a little bit space on the right. So it is, since this is 140, you can give 170. Okay. So we can put some arrow down below. Okay, arrow down below. And then what else? So these are borders, arrow, and quickly can get border shadow. Okay. Shadow, right? I think. Or box shadow, I think. Yeah. Box shadow. So gray. Cool. Finally, we need two more elements, icons, like up and down arrows. Okay. Over here we can put every time when we generate this data. So since this is image, we can put them separately under this guy. So it looks kinda one div, and then plus, not plus, let's say span, plus, and then one more minus. Let's see how it looks like. So plus and then minus, and plus and minus, this is together with div. When we click this one, we should have somewhere total. Okay, so we can put here another paragraph that collects us the total somewhere else, maybe at the top. What is that total? Yep, over here. And then we want more. What do we want is to have div which removes individual items later on. Okay, so when we click this one, okay, it completely erases from the face of this page. When we click this minus sign, okay, it only affects on my total. When we click this plus, affects on my total. But if I remove, it only removes this entire element. Even though I have added 10 Nokias, when I click that remove, it should remove all the 10 Nokias, leaving only the ones I clicked except Nokias. Okay. So we can separate this simply, not to you know, the intercept the event or handlers when we click this plus and the minus. So I can give quickly here margin, style, margin right, and let's say 10 pixel over here is enough. Yes, plus is here and minus is here. Also we can put border quickly, 1 pixel solid black. The same I can give for this one without margin. Okay, and so very quick padding. 5 pixels is enough, I think. For him as well, padding 5 pixels. Yeah, we have more space to click these increase and decrease buttons. Okay, I think more or less the let's say the design is done. Later on, it's up to you to make it even like gravity defying, or even really, really attractive and so on. Now, this UI is everything with except its spirit, except soul. Only skeleton is ready, but emotionless, functional, no function, featureless. Yeah, we can start by adding this plus icon, okay? Every time when we click, so we can go and then grab this price from Nokia and then put in our total amount, okay? That's what we are trying to do. So let's have a break, guys, and like 3-5 minutes, we'll continue. Meanwhile, you can ask questions. All right, so total initial is 0. Now we have to make a logic such that when we click this Nokia, it increases this by 1. And then showing over here the total price as well. So here 1 item and then this much price. And when we click this one, okay, 2 items and this much price total. Click one more, okay, total item, and then add this respective value. Also, we need, I think, one more state which calculates the price, right? Price, and set total price. Initially, it is also 0, so I can put right here saying that equal to this one. So total items, let's say total items. And then this is the price. We have total items, this one, and then this price. And I can attach some $sign. 0. Now let's go ahead from this increment feature. When I click this one, okay, making this one is clear. But how can I make that this becomes 99.99? And then when I click this one, this is okay too. And then this total becomes 99.99 plus 199.99. So let's do first total items, right? This should be simple. Okay, and Nurzat, go ahead. What would be your approach to start counting for these clicks?
Okay, so
Where should we inject our total counter function?
okay, let me see. I think in the paragraph, right? I mean,
Inside what? Give me
so it
seconds.
should be inside the span where we want to click. There should be the total count, right? The function, we should have a click function first, right? Because am I get what you're asking, like question? Or
Your microphone is off.
Oh, sorry about it. Nurzat, say it again. You said that in paragraph. Okay, you're gonna attach, right?
yeah, like right now we have to do the span. We need to add the on-click function on the span, right? Once we click.
Over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and handle increment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Increment, and the same we can do for decrement, right? Handle decrement. And we can go over here and then create our function, right?
Yes.
So you can write either regular way. Let's do this way. Function increment, handle increment. And then what do you wanna set when you click this one?
So we're gonna target, I think.
Okay, when you click this one, increment what you wanna increment.
Total price, so it should be incremented.
Just total, right? Not
Yes,
price at
total.
this point. Okay, just total. So total used to be 0 now. Total should be updated as
That's total.
set total amount is what?
Total plus 1.
Okay, let's try. Handling is not defined. Why? Handle increment.
Because you also wrote decrement.
Yeah, that's decrement.
What I wrote?
Line
But you
67.
didn't create decrement yet.
Oh, we haven't created decrement. Okay. So we can put over here and then this one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Control C and then Control V. Let's put here -1, right? Let's see. And used to be under the, okay, this is previous error. Now let's go and then check. 1, 2, 3. And when we click so far only 3, it means that it should understand that, okay, you clicked only Nokia, then I have to multiply here 3 by 99.99, right? And when we click this one, it becomes 4, and then adding 3 Nokia price plus this one, right? So this one is also okay, keeps adding me. And this one is also okay, keeps adding me. Okay, how about decrementing? If I go down, okay, you should understand, okay, you decremented from Nokia, and then it means you're decrementing from BlackBerry. How about if I go and even it goes to minus? How can I prevent this going to minus? Botir, you want to try? How we can prevent this decrementing going minus?
Oh, I forgot actually how to do that.
Okay. Alina, what do you think?
I think we can use if statement here.
If?
If
What do you think?
our total, right? If our total is less than or less than 0.
Okay.
Or if our total greater than 0, then change the total.
Okay, let's try this one. And refresh page. Now adding 2 and then decrementing this 2 times. And it won't go anymore, right? Cool. And let's double check if the state is also the same. Console.log total. Adding 2, 3, 4, and then decrementing from here. Total 3, 2, 1, and 0, and nothing. Okay. Looks that works. Yes.
Will it be easier if we have the counter of each phone first, and then at the total we just have the price?
Regarding price, yeah, we can go with that way, but at this point, total, we can do this approach. Also, the way you set, so you say that everyone has their counter, right? And then we will just add them up.
Yeah, everyone has own counter, and then at the total we multiply it by its own price, and then at the end add to the total. You know, so it will be like easier implementation, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we have this count property as well. Okay, this is not just because it's staying, but this is also used for price counting. That's why it's better to use the way you mentioned. Yeah, but at this point, you got the logic behind how we can increment the total. But to make it more smarter and easier, yes, using this count property, and then based on that count, we can update our UI. Okay, let's say you click this iPhone 2 times, and then Samsung 3 times. You still have their total over here as 5, but the price will be more constructive, more smarter. You just need to multiply 3 to 250 and then 2 to 450, then sum them up, and then as a result we will get the real exact price after clicking those multiple different items. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is also one way, but since we have count property, let's go with this option. Now, when we click, we have to find out which item is clicked and then go into that item's count, count feature. Okay, and then increment that one. So how can we find when we click this particular item? So we are clicking this one, but we want to address. So let's say we clicked this one, but we want to address that we clicked Nokia.
True ID.
What ID?
True ID. I mean, this ID.
So we have here. What is that one? Key we have, and then element. Element is accessible. Yes, we can get element ID, and then from that element ID, we can find that particular object, right? Okay, so let's see console before consoling. So we have here E, and then let's say console.log E.target that we can handle him the element ID. Okay, element.id, and element.id is just E in this case. Let's see. This is for handle decrement. Okay, I can remove this one more time. Let's see. Now when I click, means that Nokia is clicked and showing me the what's going on, E, and then I'm handling element.id. Element is accessible, and that ID should be ID, right?
I think you should do the online 70 instead of 69 because you put increment. And
oh, come on. Okay. So let me take it to increment then. Okay, shut it down. Yep, thank you. And forget about this one. Save. And now
on the
function
9, yeah, you're missing argument.
49.
Line 49.
exactly. Thank you. Now handle increment should bring something when we click individual items. ID of Nokia, ID of iPhone, ID of Samsung. Now, since we based on ID, we can find this element, right, from our data and then update our data that it is clicked. And then we will change the count and we will reflect this count multiplied by price on our total. Okay, so E, so we have to what? We have to, how can we find based on this ID, the object? What is the higher order function you want to prefer? Filtered, right? Yes. So from data and filter I.id equal to what?
E.
just D, right? This is gonna give me that particular object, and then it becomes as an as array. And okay, now I can filter it. I filtered it out. So let's say our object, I mean, the data looks like this. So it has ID, and then ID, and then ID. And then here on line number 50, I found this one is clicked. How can I update this one and still keep the others, but only updating this one? Any ideas? Okay, when we click this filter, it gives me object, right? Filtered 0.
We should create another function, another variable, for example, let.
Okay, another variable, you say let new data, and then?
And it's gonna be array.
Okay.
Inside it should be object.
And object of this one, filtered 0. Let's think about it.
Or can we just get the price of filtered array and then sum with line 47 with price, just to get the price and then add to the price.
Okay, yeah, price we can access this filtered price.
Yes,
But
and
we have to change this let's say this ID is detected and it has count, and we have to update, we have to modify this count from 0 to, let's say you click 2 times, so from 0 to 2.
But why we need it?
Sorry?
But why we needed this count? You know, like we are trying to just add the price, right? So once we pressed it decrement, or yeah, decrement.
Okay, let's say 2 times you clicked, and then the logic was this one. Logical. Let's come to our initial logic. So when you click Nokia 3 times, it just updates its count to 3, and then multiplies 3 to 999, and then reflects as a price. And then when you click something, okay, it updates its count to, let's say, click 2 times 2, and then multiply 250 to 2, and then plus 3 multiplied by 999, you end up getting their total, and then total number of clicks based on discounts. That's what we are trying to do, right? So based on this logic, since we are following this logic, what would be the solution after finding out that item is clicked and then going back to item and then changing only that count?
Okay.
So we have to create like a use state for the count and to pass the filter.
So I think we got the filtered array, so we just need to change the count and then add to data.
Okay, for example,
or replace with that.
Yeah, we have to replace, otherwise, let's say, let me go here, REPL note. So let A, we have this one, count 0, and then another one, count 3. So let's say you replaced, you changed the count of first to 5, and then let's see how the A looks like. it became 5. Here we have object which we found, right? But we don't know its index. So if we know the index, we can go directly, update, and then replace the data. That's also another solution, right? If you know the index of that found object. Make sense?
Yes,
So what is, yeah, what is the index of this detected object? So we can go do like this. Let's say new data becomes, let's say dot data, and then new data. So index is detected. Also, we will just jump into that index, which is, let's say, n, and then putting here count, and just incrementing its value by 1, like this, +1. Okay, but we want this n. How can we find index of that clicked item?
So filter
Based
can
on,
have two parameter. One item, and second one is index. So
okay.
can
Or based on index, what can we do then?
can return. Yeah, we can return the index instead of returning the element. Can we do that?
Can we try this array that index of key that we found?
Find index, you mean?
Yeah, to find that index. So we have the array, right? So array
Okay.
dot index of, and inside this parenthesis, the key that that we found. Will it work?
No, that won't work. That works only when you have array of strings or array of elements, but here array of objects. But we can do something like that. Find index. So since we have I, right, I dot item, and let's see what it is gonna return us, console.filtered, console.filtered. So we will return the index of object where its ID is equal to the one I'm clicking, the ID of element. The one I'm clicking ID is, let's say, Nokia, and then if it's equal to with the one of my objects, okay, return me index of that object. Makes sense? Let's try this one, filter it, and then index. Let me remove this point. So let's see. Look at this. When I click this, right, this is handle increment. ID is not defined. Why? Where is that ID? Line number, which ID is not defined. Oh, I think somewhere we did mistake. 40000. That's 0. Okay, let's run one more time. I think that's because previous error. Now, this handle increment is on my span, which is here. An ID of this one is our 2, right? ID of this one is 2, and index is 1. You see, index 1. If I click one more time, 1, 1, 1. And when I click this one, index 0. Okay, now I can go using that index to change my data. Now, so let new data becomes ... data. Okay, and then new data, filter it, and then that count +1, right? And then let's see how new data looks like. Console log new data. Let me shut it down. How it looks like when I click. So expecting sound of function call keywords or okay, I think. Let's run one more time. Okay, still problem 53. Okay, looks like this one, and then now when I click this, one is clicked, and then two. What's going on? What am I? New data filtered. Okay, that's the index. I have to jump into that index. Actually, I don't need to write this one. Count +1, right? Gotcha. Let's see one more time. Now we click Nokia, and then Nokia should have count equal to 1. Is it equal to 1? Yes. Let's go back iPhone, click multiple times, 1, 2, 3. And iPhone should have count equal to 3. It's over here, and now it's 3. We just multiply 3 with this price, and then 1 with this price, and reflect over here as a total, and then also their total counted based on this count keywords. Does make sense? This piece of code?
Yep.
Great. Now we can update our state. And state also shows, okay, when we update the state, do we need to show them? We can show how many times it is clicked, right? So let's say put here element price as well as element dot count. Let's say EU selected, and then the count reflects how many times we selected. And based on that, we have to update our data as well. Here, set. This is not data, guys. Set data. Set data. Control C. And then just new data. Control paste over here. I don't want any of those. Yeah, based on that index, we ended up incrementing the particular object's count property, and then that and change my data, and then I will just render my page by showing them on my UI as well. So select it. You want to send it down. What was the new line? I think BR, right? Will it help? It helps. Okay, you selected how many times? One time, 2 times, and here 2 times, and then 3 times, 4 times. And based on this selected times, we will just update this guy and then this price as well after multiplying. Okay, so now that count also used to reflect over here, right? Every time when we click, we have to update this total as well. So how can we grab all and then make one total? We have to grab all counts and then make one total.
Can we get all values from new data and just count it?
Say it again.
Or actually new data is an array, so never mind.
Can we use a reduce higher order function?
Yeah, we can use the reduce, right? So let's go and then check how we can implement that reduce. For example, if we have this kind of object, so let's say 10, and then how can we make it look 13, right? So let dot equal to a dot reduce. And it takes 2 parameters, right? Accumulator and then element iterator, right? Accumulator and then you can say, of course, where is my mistake at this point?
It should be one parenthesis inside.
I have to wrap, right? When I have two parameters. Okay, and then I can start the accumulator from 0, and then what? Return. Actually, I just need to write here ACC plus I dot count is enough, right? So let's see, console dot log, and then tot. That's 13. Okay, ACC plus I dot count. I is iterator, and then count. What's the problem?
A value.
What is that?
Shall we use a dot values? Because now it's like array, but it's an object inside.
A dot value. Why? This is
because it will get a value from the object. No?
You are missing that initial value, you know, the 0. It should be in the beginning some value, you know, 0.
okay.
There should be comma and 0. Just put,
Got it.
no.
So you want this? I just wanted to go with the single line.
No, you
Oops.
can still do that one.
Still okay.
Yeah.
This is
Just
13.
You just need to put the comma after this count and then just type 0.
Okay.
If you want single line.
Let's do that then. Dot, and then you say that reduce, and then so ACC, and then I, this one, and
Accumulator plus 1.
accumulator plus I dot count, and then comma 0, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Let's see. Same output. Cool. Yep. And this is also another solution, and this is also, if you want with single line, it's okay. And let's use this single line then. Over here, once we click, we have to update the total as well, right? By using our reduce function. So let total becomes so it should be after updating data, right? Should I write after this set data? Because we have to update after data is updated. I mean, after data's count is incremented or decremented. Should I write after set data?
Yes. Of course. Definitely. Yes,
I can write,
data.
but it doesn't guarantee me, right? Guys, set state or this dot set state or set data does not guarantee you that data is updated. Okay, it means that data is something new after this line. It's not guaranteed. There is no guarantee. The moment you set something, it goes to jump and then fires your page to re-render again. Okay, so if you want to implement other logic after set data, that's not a good way. There's no guarantee. And you can set something if there is already changed. For example, set total to let's say set total to 0. Okay, but writing some logic and bringing this data and then putting set total to 0, there is no guarantee. So let's use a different approach. Means that once the data is changed, okay, we can fire useEffect, right? useEffect. Makes sense? So we will use here useEffect only when the data is changed. And based on that data, we can update this total by running our reducer over here. Use reduce. So let tot becomes data dot reduce ACC I, and then ACC plus I dot count, and is mentioned 0. Okay, so when data changed. Okay, this gonna be fired, and then we will set our total one more time based on that total. Okay. Now data is gonna be changed, and then the total will also be affected every time. Okay. 5 times. And then 5 plus 4, 9. Makes sense? Yeah, and this way we can also we implemented somehow the use effect one more time. Okay. Cool. Since we have the total and then the total of individual objects, so the next step is to calculate their local prices to their local change, to the local count, and then local price multiplied by local count from all the items we have so far, and then just reflect them on our UI, right? So whoever has changed, we will take their values. Now, so we can do here, maybe. We have new data and using that new data, okay? Not using this data, but using this new data. Since new data is the updated one, okay, let total price becomes equal to what? Let's go back and then brainstorm over here with a simpler examples. Let's say price is 10, and then price is 20. So, and I can remove this one. This is total, but now I want to get 100 plus 60. So I want to get 160 after making some logic. How can I get 160 over here? Now we can simple loop, right? We can, let's go our regular loop. Let price equal to 0 initially. For let I of A, so we can go one by one these objects, and then price equal to I dot count multiplied by I dot price, right? This makes sense. And now console log price. A simpler solution, hopefully. Let's see. Just 60y. Now we haven't added on top of, right? We just need to put here price plus, and then that one. Cool. You see, I just looped one by one this object. And then since I am inside this object, I can grab their individual count multiplied by price, and then adding on top of my price. And in my second iteration, I'm inside next object, and then I'll grab its count multiplied by price, and then plus on top of my already accumulated price. And then at the end of my loop, I will just get its total. Make sense? Simple solution.
I think we can use reduce function here as well.
Sure, we can use. Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, but trying to explain in a more simpler way. Okay. Yeah, but makes sense, right? So we can implement reduce as well. Maybe not sure. We can go above and beyond using let's say linked list. Even it's up to you, but this is a simple solution. And how about reduce if we can? Let's do with reduce as well. Price equal to.
We can just copy the code on the line 4 and then after I dot count multiplied with I dot price.
Okay, you say why not wasting time, right? Okay, what do you mean here? Accumulated I dot count and then multiplied by I dot price. This is what you want, right?
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
see. Cool. Yeah. So what I wanted to address over here is this is regular algorithm, right? So this algorithm is everywhere. Even you go with Java, Python, C Sharp. This logic is always same. But you may not find reduced in other programming languages. You may not be like remembering every time. But you know this. If you know this logic, you still can find solution. But of course, if you can use this higher order function, then extra credit. Why not? Cool. And meanwhile, so if you just to remind you difference between off and then in, what was that between off and in?
Off for arrays, in for objects.
How about arrays? You cannot use in arrays?
No.
You sure?
I hope.
Okay. For let I in A, what happens if I console log I? It just prints me the index of these elements. And then I can still use that index to grab my information from these objects. You see? In and off for both arrays you can use. But if you use in arrays, it starts with the index. Like for let I equal to 0, I is less than array length, and then I plus plus, and you use I inside your for loop, right? The same way. Yeah, but off individually grabs the objects. So you can put directly I to get those objects. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And let's use this logic to accumulate our total price over here. Now we have total price. And then the way you mentioned, we can quickly copy and paste data, but this time not data, but new data, right? Reduce ACC I dot count multiplied by I dot price. This one we can use in our total. So, sorry, Control C. On over here, we can put total price. Now, we'll refresh everything. Total is 0, count is 0. If I click, nothing changed. Click, nothing changed. Click, nothing changed. Click, nothing changed. But how about if we console how this total looks like? Total. In fact, we are updating. Let me refresh. Total is 0, okay. 1. And total looks like 99.99, and it's not showing us over here. 2, 3, 4, and then even if I add this one, I have exact total 1 BlackBerry and then 3, or 5 even Nokias. But we don't see it's on the UI. It is reflected. Where is that total? Price. We have to put price, right? Set total price, not amount. Gotcha. Sorry about that. Okay, now it should reflect. Let's go back and then refresh again. I was setting another state. Meanwhile, I'm setting that state over here as well. So immediately putting to 0. Now, yep, 2 Nokias and then this amount. And I'm gonna add 1 BlackBerry. You see the reflected correct total. And then 2 Samsungs, total is 5, but everything is based on the clicks. 2 Nokias, 1 BlackBerry, 2 Samsungs, even 1 iPhone makes this price. Okay. Now, next task is to decrement and put things back. If I decrement Nokia, okay, I have to decrement this one to from 6 to 5, but I have to subtract only what? The amount of 1 Nokia. And then next decrement should subtract the amount of 1 Nokia again. So I selected 1 BlackBerry, and this is total. That's total. Okay, let's make it a little bit fixed. Otherwise, look at this. Like sometimes it looks weird, really weird. Look at this. So we can fix this one to, what was that, guys? Price that to fix it, right? 2 does make work. Yep, just 2 digits after the decimal point. Yeah, it will not count like all those minor changes. Okay, let's have a break. Is everything clear, guys? Looks like you don't have questions. All the steps, all the tasks we have done so far looks clear, right?
Kanybek, can you explain the use effect, like why we used it one more time?
Why we used, yes. So here we updated our data, right? And I mean, this data is updated. And then after updating the data, this became something like this. Let's say you clicked something, Samsung 4 times. And based on that new data, we can get their total count and then display on our screen. So when we can use that data after updating, so using use effect, only when the data is changed. So here data is changed. It means that it goes and triggers this use effect. Okay, when it triggers, there is a function that accumulates the number of counts and then changes my total. So this use effect is only used when the data is updated. Otherwise, it is never used. So it is logical. I need the total count when the data is updated, right? So here data is updated, and then it means that this effect, there is a sensor. Oh, there is data coming with updated objects, so I can run this one and then change my state again and then reflect on my UI. That's why we use this one. If data is not updated, we will never ever run this code, this piece of code. Okay, this way, yeah, we integrated how to use this effect as well. But so look at this. Console.log use effect, save. I'm clearing. What happens if I run my page from the very first time? There is a use effect. Run. Why it happened, even though we put here data?
Because use effect runs after render one time, the life cycle.
Yeah, it runs definitely once, even though you put here dependent array. It definitely runs once, and the next time it never runs until you change, or until there is a change in data, in this state data. Okay, it never ever runs, even though you have many changes except data. But when there is a change in your data, okay, it runs again one more time. Now let's say, look at this. If I click this one, and useEffect runs one more time because data is being changed, right? If I click one more time, useEffect is running again and then showing me the total exactly. How can we block this useEffect running even from the very first rendering? Did I mention about it?
Like empty array, yeah.
Even though you don't put, it runs once, but I don't want even useEffect rendered at least once. I don't even want. I want only when data is changed and stop from its first rendering as well when I first time launch my page. So there is another hooks called use ref. So you can use ref to block useEffect to render from the very first browser, let's say, opening. Okay, so that can be used const, let's say, stop equal to use ref. Initially, you can put here false. Okay, false, and then inside over here, if stop that current. So there is a property inside useRef called current, and that current is equal to false. If that one is, let's say, false, okay, go out from this useEffect without further running. So I can put here not. Okay, if stop that current is, let's say, false, making this true, and then go out from useEffect without running this one. And at the same time, I have to put here stop that current equal to true. So since initially it is false, okay, it goes into my if statement and then makes my useRef to true. Okay, and then goes out from useEffect. Next time, sometime in the future, after 10 days, let's say data has been changed. Okay, it comes again and tests, can I still penetrate through useEffect or not? And then it detects that, oh, useRef is already true, and then this becomes false, and then I can jump to line number 86 and then run the rest of the lines. Okay, as a result, I stopped useEffect running from the first render. Let's see if this useEffect is in our console or not when we refresh our page. It is not, you see? Even we blocked our useEffect from very first render. But now, stop that current has become true. And then if I change data and then tests again, and this is true, okay, makes false, and I can jump to the rest of the line without, running this if statement. And now this one, useEffect is on fire again. Okay, you will be using, you really need such kind of logic, for example, during your application development. Okay, I want to stop this one. What should I do? Oh, there is a useEffect, useRef. Okay, this is a really cool feature. And then you want to run only useEffect based on the data. Okay, I can put dependency and so on. So I want to fetch something. Oh, useEffect I have. I want to call async function again. Okay, I have useEffect. You see useEffect, how really multifunctional it is.
Can you say again, please, for dependency?
Yeah,
What?
for example, you want to run, you are planning a project that, let's say, the UI should be updated based on some state change, right? Okay, you have a useEffect. You can go and then implement useEffect by putting that particular state and then calling the function inside useEffect only only after when that state is changed. As a result, your UI, will behave according to that logic. So in other words, your useEffect runs only when there is this particular state change. Okay. Yep, useRef is cool feature, and you can also use for your further projects.
Do we have to use ref, or we can just assign any variable? Const stop is equal to false, and then we can just change it like a regular boolean.
And that also works. For example, let's say here you have loading, right? Constant loading, and then set loading. And initially is definitely your loading is use state is false and false. Okay, and loading is false. Okay, since it's false, you can put here loading and then go out. This also works. You see, loading is false. We don't even use ref. Loading is false. Okay, we go into this if statement and then go out from the useEffect. And next time you have to somewhere else set your loading to be true again. So when it comes back after data has changed, so when it comes back and then should detect that loading is already true. So now I can jump here. That's also possible. Okay. But this also, hooks has different approaches. Maybe your loading may not be, treating as if you want, the way you want 100%. Great. Now we have these items so far collected in our basket. So click one. Okay, what's going on? The state is kind of going weird. If I click this looks $1,000.
It says like total items 5.
Yeah.
On your product object, you put some count 5, so that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Really? Where is
Yeah.
that?
On the object array of object where that count.
Oh, I think I
Yeah.
directly
White.
changed, right? And this one 0, that's 0, that's 0, 0. Okay, I directly changed mine. Thank you. Okay, great. Now next task is to do the same logic for minus. And let's do it quickly. Handle increment. We can bring everything from decrement, but we have to make it work only when the total is greater than 0, right? Control C. So if total, otherwise we don't want to run these codes. So if it's not 0, as long as it's not 0, it keeps running. If it's 0, becomes falsy and then stops executing. Now filter it. Okay, we will find this one, but this way we will decrement by minus, and then we will do the same logic and then update the same and so on. I think that's it. Let's refresh. Make sure that minus shouldn't work. Yep, it's not working. And now one item added, one item from BlackBerry. It's also over here indicating me one item over here. Now I want to decrement BlackBerry, so it should leave only me 2 Nokia sums, which is around $200. Didn't work. Reading count. Something went down.
Should it be on line 63 as a starting value?
Say it again.
Should it be 0 on line 63, the last value? Like maybe we should put like accumulator because it's going.
This 0, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For decrement.
Look at this. I'm just decrementing the count. Okay, when the count is decremented, data has a different count, and then based on that different count, I'm taking another reduce, and then another reduce is applied over here.
Oh, I see. It's a different logic than I was thinking.
Handle decrement. Yeah, let's go back. Maybe we are doing something wrong. So E, maybe we didn't handle the handle decrement. Oh, okay, gotcha. You see, we didn't hand the required gift for this handle decrement. Now element ID should be passed. We didn't have element ID, that's why. Save. Handle decrement. Let's go back and refresh everything. Launch page again. So we have added 2 Nokias and then 1 BlackBerry. Now I want to subtract 1 BlackBerry back. Okay, 2 and then only 2 Nokias. Let's add 2 iPhones and this much, and then I want to subtract 1 Nokia. I mean even 2 Nokias. I should have only 2 iPhone price. 1, 2, and this should be my iPhone price. 450, 4, and then 2. That definitely makes me equal to whatever I'm expecting, right? Cool. Based on the individual clicks, we are okay at this point. Now let's remove, for example, I have added, let's say 6 Nokias, but when I remove, it should remove that Nokia from my page and then even subtract 6 at once and then put in here only the one I have left based on my rest of the clicks. Okay. So for remove, I can run another. Is that element ID still accessible? Hope so. Let's run one more function. Handle remove. Control C. And element ID is accessible now. Okay, where are my functions? Can at this point at least copy. So yeah, if total is not 0, even if it's 0, right, I can remove, right? If I don't want, right? Even if it's 0. So how can we remove that guy? Is based on just ID and then update our data after filtering, right? Let filter it just data dot filter I dot ID is not equal to E, right? And then I'll just put this one to my state. Let's see. So data is filtered, and then based on the one that is not matching, I ended up getting a new data and then just put inside my set data. Let me refresh to see everything from the beginning. Click, 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 and remove one. I have 1 Nokia and then 1 BlackBerry now. And more BlackBerries, but I want to remove all the BlackBerries. So I have one. I should have only 1 Nokia with its price left. Yeah, it didn't reflect on my price, right? It just reflected my total. So I removed 5 BlackBerries, but didn't reflect on my total. What should I do then? In fact, the data is changed.
Filter.id.price maybe.
No, we are good with the filter. So we are updating our UI after removing the BlackBerry, and then we ended up getting only these items. You see, only 2 items because 2 items removed. But you see here, guys, the problem. I have 1 Nokia, but the price is this much, and the rest of the price is coming from my already removed BlackBerries.
To update price, total price again using the reduce function.
Okay, but set data is updated over here. Why it's not running my, you know, my set total one more time? Why it's not running when there is already? Well, let's remove this one at this point, not to confuse. Okay, but at least we know how to work with useref. Now I'm gonna run everything and then add 1 Nokia and then 3, 4, 5 Raspberry Blackberries, and then remove this one. So 1 Nokia, but everything whatever I have clicked so far is still reflecting on my price. And even use effect is also you know, render it, and looks like this one is not showing me exact total. Where's my total? Total is 1. Okay, how about the price? Let's see the price as well. Total amount, it's over here. Oh, wait, what is this? So this is set total amount. Okay, we don't have price, right? Okay, we have to update the price as well when we remove. Gotcha. Okay, now we can run this code one more time, guys. Simply over here. After the data is changed. So total price is not new data, but tot, okay? And then it takes the price and then total price and then tot is updated, so on. Now it works. Because we haven't updated the price so far. Even the data is changed, it just has been updating the total, but not the price. Tot reduces on the function. Oh, sorry, this is just a one single, right? This is data, gotcha. Data. Let's run again. So 1 Nokia and 3 Raspberries, Blackberries. And the total is this much. If I remove this, I should have 1 Nokia and then just 99.99. That's it. Now it's okay. Okay, add more iPhones and remove Nokia. You will get only the iPhones you clicked and their total price. Okay. I think we are done with the tasks we have set at the beginning. The objectives and the goals are set, and we can think of the somehow custom pagination when we have, let's say, more data. Or what we can do, is to practice yourself maybe. So let me guys add more items over here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 items. You can change the price and the name and then the image, but you're gonna implement debounce and then I will remove this. That's simple. Okay, we can implement debounce, and then, okay, we can filter, guys, based on the price. You will work on filter, okay? So in an ascending order or in a descending order, you can filter by putting here one, icon that filters your items. So I'll share you code. Your task is to implement debounce. So using debounce, you have to filter your searching items. For example, no Nokia. After 1 second, just list only Nokia if you have that element, if you have that item. And then one icon, so it filters in an ascending or in a descending order based on their price. Deal, guys? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna send this code, Control A, and so we can run. So what do we have here in this particular code? Let me check. Nothing. Almost nothing. I mean, you don't need to install any third-party library. Okay, you don't need to install anything, and just you have to go with debounce after correctly installing, and insert your input element and make a searching feature functional. I can share over here. Yep, I hope we could get that code and make it run. Now let me create breakout rooms.